Very, very good morning, everyone. Charles here, FRGNT Daily Chart Analysis. The date is Wednesday, the 20th of May, 2026, and a little bit more excitement in my voice this morning, a little bit more enthusiasm as a result of coming to the charts and already identifying that price is starting to gravitate towards better areas in the market. What we had at the start or the turn of the week, let's call it Monday, where the DXY, we can quite clearly understand reasons why price action would be looking to push towards the highs. We have that market gap. We also have that higher time frame weekly order block. Once you refine that area down, you can see that daily order block quite there clearly. So price, of course, wants to gravitate towards filling the imbalance in the market, not just by way of order block selection, but by clear identification of a market gap in the area. Once you identify those imbalance areas, of course, you can understand why price wants to roll towards those highs on the DXY. In contrast to that, we can also understand why the DXY would like to roll down to the downside. We have that weekly 50 MA that is pushing price down, keeping price in and around the area. Price doesn't want to break above that, and particularly doesn't want to close above that weekly 50 MA, considering if we look at the most recent month's worth of weekly price action candles, we can see that price is failing to break and close above that weekly 50 MA, and of course rejecting it to the downside. So you can see the contrast already, the fight that is taking place on the DXY. And then when you utilize a crosspair to understand, is that thought process correct? Of course, the DXY using US dollar CAD as that primary crosspair, the dollar, look what we've had over the last couple of days. You can quite clearly identify that range bound market where price doesn't want to make its mind up as a result of the catalyst not making any clear directional movements. But as I've said, a little bit more of enthusiasm in my voice this morning coming to the charts. With experience, you can identify when it's going to be a potential trading day and vice versa. So Monday, in particular, I recognize that, well, we've got that weekly 50 MA. Is price going to tap it and move to the shorts, or is price going to push forward through that weekly 50 MA, tap into the imbalance on the DXY, and then start to roll short from that moment onwards? But what that would have meant is that DXY strength is coming out of the market and the crosspair weakness. However, of course, looking for those crosspair weaknesses throughout the week, we weren't getting any pullbacks, therefore wasn't really able to capitalize on anything at the moment. So just really still waiting for those pullbacks across AU, across EU, and particularly on GU. And then in terms of the primary, looking for US dollar CAD potentially for a long. So now it is, or rather a short rather. So there in itself is the conflict. However, with that said, understanding that I'm looking for cross pair shorts and also a primary pair short, I can understand at the moment why that is incorrect. I can't have US dollar CAD rolling short as well as Euro US dollar rolling short. So there has to be a slight amount of give in the analysis today, just understanding that we are going to be acting in line with what price action is showing. So in terms of the chart analysis, we're very much so neutral bias, just understanding, well, if the DXY is going to, of course, roll shorts from that area, then of course we will have that bullishness coming out of Euro US dollar looking to go towards the upside. Now, whether or not you'd like to take a potential reversal position as a result of price coming down towards these areas, then we'll have to have a look and understand that, or whether you'd like to wait for your better positions, i.e., DXY weakness coming out of the market, pushing GU back up to a better area to short from, and of course that DXY weakness, hopefully that is indeed short-lived, potentially down towards these areas. And then in contrast, looking at GU to pop up to those areas, up at those highs for a good looking short. So just to keep it short and snappy, just a little message to you traders out there: understand that not every day is a trading day. I fully understand that that's a very cliche phrase that is used in trading, in the trading environment, but it really does ring true. If you get to the charts and you're not seeing anything that identifies clean with your strategy, that is your first sign that today may not be a trading day. So I most certainly had that on Monday. Yesterday was a little bit better, but I could understand where price could develop further to give me better favorable positions or favorable circumstances that would suit my strategy a lot better. And today, I feel that we've got that. If you look at even AU for good example, that bullish structure on AU pushing price up towards the upside. Nevertheless, I would not be looking to take a long position into that higher time frame weekly order block. So what I needed to understand is, when is the bullish pressure no longer identifiable in the market? And yesterday we've had almost, and what I say by almost is that now I am willing to take that risk on the short. So the key element of that on the daily time frame, as you look here, is very clear that we made a high from this area. So of course, after a high is confirmed, that then confirms a higher low. Once you get the higher low broken, so in an ideal scenario, I'd have loved to have seen this daily candle close a little bit further below this bullish structure point, and most certainly below that daily 50 MA for that low now to be created, and waiting for a price to make that lower high potentially in towards that 4-hour 50 MA. We can already see here where we've got an order block based on structure and price action as a result of that break of structure for then the rollover short. So it's all looking a lot better in my opinion this morning as we get to the charts, and I will indeed update you throughout the day in terms of any positions that I'm potentially looking at. But nevertheless, the daily chart analysis in terms of my favorites have very much so been posted today. So US dollar CAD looking at potential shorts, GBP US dollar looking at either way at this point depending on the DXY movement. What is it going to do? Also looking at Euro US dollar, but shorts only, not really interested in the long positions just yet. AU, as I've just mentioned, looking at the short positions, and of course all of that is based upon the catalyst, of which is the DXY posted just an hour ago. So those are my favorites for today. Of course, very dynamic in my analysis, so that could potentially change throughout the day. But nevertheless, as I look at the charts this morning at 8:30 local time here in Milan, that is my bias at the moment. So do take care, everyone. Thank you very much for your messages, your support across all the FRGNT channels. It is appreciated. Do take care and have a great trading day. Charles.